Welcome back, distinguished architects of the truth and connoisseurs of the unspoken, to the hallowed, velvet-lined archives of Mr. Magazine. You have stepped once again into the only sanctuary in the digital realm where a single pixelated image is analyzed with the gravity of a historical decree, and where the silence between two superstars is deciphered like an ancient, sacred code. We are the premier destination for those who understand that in the glittering, often deceptive world of celebrity, the most profound stories are not those scripted by screenwriters or managed by publicists, but those that escape the carefully constructed cage of fame to reveal the raw, beating heart beneath. Today's story is nothing short of jaw-dropping. It is a narrative pivot that feels less like a headline and more like a tectonic shift in the cultural landscape. One single photograph, blurry and stolen from time, has rewritten everything we thought we knew about the saga of Barış Arduç and Elçin Sangu. For weeks, there were murmurs in the dark, emotional remarks that felt like riddles, and subtle hints dropped like breadcrumbs from both sides. But no one, absolutely no one, could have braced for the visual evidence that landed online and ignited the world. We are talking about a leak that has become a global phenomenon. A moment of intimacy, stolen from a private night, that has confirmed the prayers of millions. But before we dissect this image pixel by pixel and analyze the history that led us to this breathtaking second, I must ask for a moment of your esteemed patronage. If you value the depth, the elegance, and the fearless analysis of our storytelling, please ensure you have pressed that subscribe button. It is your passport to the inner circle of the truth. For those among you who wish to walk the red carpet of exclusive content and support the artistry of our investigations, the Join, Catil button is waiting for your click. It is the mark of a true insider who demands more than just rumors. Your likes and comments are the ink with which we write history, so please, let your voice be heard in the discussion below. Now, let us look at the kiss that changed everything. The entertainment world did not just react, it ignited. The spark was a single photo of Barış Arduç and Elçin Sangu kissing, an image that leaked onto the internet with the force of a revelation. And let us be unequivocally clear from the outset, no, this wasn't a scene from a new series, nor was it a staged publicity move designed to sell a product. According to people with direct, unimpeachable knowledge of the night in question, it happened at a private event, far away from the flashing bulbs of official cameras and the prying eyes of reporters. It happened tucked in a corner where the noise of the party washed over them like a tide but couldn't touch the quiet sanctuary they found together. In that small, suspended space, they made a choice that shocked millions but surprised perhaps only those who haven't been paying attention. Witnesses who glimpsed the minutes before the kiss described a scene of cinematic tension. A long, unwavering look between them, the kind of eye contact that acts as a conversation, saying everything that needs to be said without a single syllable being uttered. They leaned in close, their voices low, almost tender, creating a private universe in a crowded room, and the air around them seemed to disappear. What happened next didn't look rehearsed, and it certainly didn't feel like a strategy born in a boardroom. It carried weight. It carried history. It carried the bittersweet ache of time past and lessons learned. The kiss came across as inevitable, as if every script, every separation, and every year that had come before had been steering them to that exact, fragile second. Fans who have followed their journey since those unforgettable, golden days of Kiralik Ast felt as though the picture was the confirmation they'd been waiting for, a vindication of their faith. We all remember when Barış, in his cryptic way, said he could never fully let go of the woman who mattered most to him. We remember when Elçin, with that melancholic glint in her eyes, hinted she couldn't picture committing to anyone else unless destiny placed the right person back in her path. Back then, cynical observers chalked those answers up to polished interview talk, the kind of fluff designed to keep fans engaged. Now those words read like breadcrumbs from a reunion that had been quietly, secretly unfolding out of sight. This brings us to a profound philosophical inquiry about the nature of love and timing. Do you believe that some people are inextricably bound by fate, destined to find each other no matter how much time has passed? Or is this just a beautiful coincidence? We are incredibly curious to hear your philosophy on right person, wrong time. Please, share your profound thoughts and personal stories in the comments below. We read every single theory. And if you have been rooting for Barış and Elçin since day one, show your support by hitting that like button right now. The photo exploded the moment it hit the feed. It wasn't just viewed, it was devoured. It was shared, reposted, debated, and dissected by a global army of forensic romantics. People analyzed the angle of their heads, stayed fixated on their facial expressions, scrutinized the placement of their hands, their posture, the closeness of their bodies, and the story their closed eyes told. Within minutes, it became a global trend, trending higher than political news. From the streets of Europe to the vibrant cities of Latin America and the heart of the Middle East, fans jumped into the conversation, calling it the comeback of the year, a love story given a miraculous second act. But sources insist to Mr. Magazine that this wasn't a lightning bolt arriving out of an empty, clear sky. We're hearing that Barış and Elçin have been quietly reconnecting for months. This was not an impulse, it was a crescendo. They've chosen private spaces, carefully guarded times, and conversation after conversation that reopened old doors without forcing them. Friends close to them believe that what happened wasn't an accident or a slip of judgment. It was a decision. A quiet, steady decision that said their connection had never really dissolved, it had just retreated behind a curtain while real life pressed on. That single image changed how the public sees them forever. Gone are the days of vague captions and cryptic posts that could mean anything. Gone are the rumors that danced around their names without ever daring to settle. Now the narrative is sharp, clear, and undeniable, something real is happening again. Let's talk about the geography of the moment, where it happened. The event was crowded, noisy, one of those glittering industry nights where the music is too loud and the conversation never stops. But in a quiet corner, they found something like shelter. People in the room noticed the way they gravitated toward each other, like magnets finding their north. They weren't hiding in the shadows, but they weren't performing for an audience either. They were simply in their own orbit, both acutely aware of the world around them and somehow utterly apart from it. There's a mesmerizing detail from a source who claims to have stood just a few steps away. They say Barış reached for her hand first, his fingers tracing her wrist for a split second, a gesture of intimacy and questioning. It was as though he was asking a question without asking it. Elçin looked up, met his gaze with that luminous intensity we know so well, and everything else, the clinking glasses, the laughter, the cameras waiting at the door, faded into background noise. When they finally kissed, it looked like something that had always been coming, like a moment they had saved for themselves, finally unwrapped after years of waiting. Of course, the internet did what the internet does. Some skeptics, hardened by years of PR stunts, said it had to be a publicity trick. But insiders pushed back vehemently, saying there were no official photographers nearby, no publicists orchestrating a scene with lighting and angles. This wasn't designed. In fact, if you look closely at the image, and we know you have, you can see the spontaneity of it. It's slightly off-center, a little grainy, rushed. It has the texture of reality. Someone caught a fraction of a moment and, without knowing, unleashed a tidal wave. For longtime followers, the emotional punch is real. Their supporters remember interviews where he spoke about commitment with the calm certainty of someone who means every word, and where she talked about connection as something rare, worth protecting, and never to be faked. Those comments felt charming at the time, now they feel prophetic. The difference between then and now is the certainty of what we're seeing. It's not theory. It's not a headline you can scroll past. It's the image that says everything. We are deep into the analysis of this historic reunion. If you are enjoying this breakdown of the hidden details behind the headlines, please make sure you have joined the Mr. Magazine family by subscribing. We decode the stories that others miss. Also, I implore you to check out the Join Katil button below this video. Doing so allows you to support our channel directly and ensures we can continue to bring you these high-fidelity narratives. Do you think they will make a public statement soon? Let us know your predictions in the comments. People close to Barış and Elçin describe their recent months as a period of profound healing. This wasn't about glittering red carpets or rehearsed poses, it was about honest, sometimes uncomfortable, conversations. Mending a bond that deep isn't glamorous. It's messy, it requires vulnerability, and it takes time. The rumor is that they both made space for that process, stepping back from the noise of their careers so they could actually hear each other again. The kiss, then, wasn't a burst of drunken impulse. It was the visible sign of a decision made quietly and carefully, like a promise whispered in a room only two people can enter. Overnight, media outlets raced to catch up. Magazine covers appeared with headlines that read like Destiny's victory lap, declaring, in essence, the reunion everyone was waiting for. Comment sections became confessionals. People shared where they were when they first watched them together years ago, how that on-screen electricity felt like something alive, something that transcended the script. Others recalled specific scenes from Kiralik Ask, moments where a glance or a laugh seemed to carry more than the writers intended. That's the power of a connection that refuses to dim. It won't be confined to a screen. The morning after the photo surfaced, they didn't rush to deny it. They didn't scramble to put the moment back in a box or issue a "we are just friends" statement. Instead, silence became its own kind of statement. Sometimes silence means hiding guilt. But sometimes, silence means protection. This felt like the latter. When something is precious, you hold it close for a while. You let it breathe before you share it with the world. Make no mistake, this changes the entire conversation. We've moved beyond ambiguity and speculation into a place where the heart of the matter is visible. Maybe this was always inevitable. Maybe the world was just waiting for the proof. Either way, the energy has shifted. The story that began in fictional scripts and blossomed into a cultural memory now seems to be blooming again, this time unbound by credits or call times. So what should we expect next? A joint red carpet appearance that seals it publicly? A shared project that lets them turn their renewed chemistry into art again? Or an understated acknowledgement, one photo, one caption, one line that says, "We're here, and that's enough for now"? Whatever comes, one truth seems undeniable: this isn't a fling. Not the way insiders tell it. Not the way the moment looked. It felt like a page turned, not a page torn. Global outlets are lining up features, editorials, and retrospectives. Photographers are on alert for the next sign. On social media, fans are tallying memories and hopes with equal intensity. They're ready for the next chapter, eager to see if the people who made them believe in love on screen will now let them witness a version of it beyond the frame. It's still astonishing that what began in the quiet pocket of a crowded gathering has become one of the biggest stories of the year. But that's how these things happen. Love finds a corner, and then the world finds love. The angle of a camera and the beat of a heart meet for a split second, and everything changes. We at Mr. Magazine will be here to chronicle every step of this second act. Thank you for joining us in the archives today. If this story of second chances and timeless chemistry resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe to ensure you never miss a chapter of this unfolding romance. Until next time, may you find your own corner of quiet in a noisy world. Goodbye.